Hey, welcome to Draw Me Face. I'm Mark Homer, and the idea is I try to do a portrait in an hour and a half or less. Today I only have about an hour, I think, to draw. And pardon me, this is the day after Mother's Day. I started it on Friday in honor of Mother's Day, but I just had time to just start it for a few minutes. And so then I promised myself I'd come finish it up on Monday. So yesterday was Mother's Day here in the United States, and this is a picture right here of my mother in 1943 when she was young. And anyway, so I'm using this to do a Mother's Day piece. So I got it set up the other day, and so I'm just going to go from there. So hopefully I can find what I was using and carry on. I've got like tons of stuff here to work with, but all of my erasers are like super used and dry, which is unusual for the kneaded erasers. They're just so old. I need to throw these away. I think I've got one that'll work. Maybe two, maybe one. So I'll go as long as I can here, unless I need to go grab another kneaded eraser. But anyway, so here we go. We'll do what we can. Let me look at the time. Okay, I'm going to see what I can do. 45 minutes or an hour. So, or less. I don't know. Let's just see how this goes. Going to double check some measurements. Oh, good. I have more equipment here than I thought. Yay. Okay, good. Oh, except I just dropped one of them. Let's see if I can grab it. Sorry. I need to grab something I just dropped. And get resituated here. All right. Well, here we go. Here we go. And like I said, I was going to do a little bit of measuring just to make sure I've got some things rolling correctly. So from cheekbone to cheekbone, chin to kind of almost mid forehead. Okay, just trying to get a feel for if that's cheekbone, cheekbone. Okay, that's not too bad for how things are set. So now, let's see, which eye, where do I want to get these set? Okay, well, let's go with this one. I like the height of that one. Well, except for, okay, so if, height, here, let's see, let's do that again. So if I go chin to eye there, just barely below that. And then where the inside of that socket or the eye itself is, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4 across. That's pretty close. So it should be like kind of right there. Ish. Okay, so kind of right there. Then the other eye. Ooh, it's just under a third of the way across. Out further. And what I'm looking at is the whole eye, structure. Not, oh, was I going with the eyeball? Let me see. 1, 2. Oh, I was going with the eyeball. So, let me see. Just getting some measuring out here. And I know a lot of artists often talk about like the ugly stage of a portrait and stuff like that. I don't care. It's like, it's not going to end up looking like that, right? So it's like, I really don't care what the ugly stage looks like or how long it stays there, because we'll resolve it. We will resolve it sometime. Okay. So anyway, I know, and it can bug people. It's like, and it kind of bothers me, but like not really, because I'm not looking at that per se. Now, if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and guess at these eyebrows and throw some in there. The wispies going on there. Now, what that gives me is an established measurement. Now, my camera's not lined up quite right, so what I'm doing to the camera is from my thumbnail to something, but I'm actually right there with it. Let's see, let's go base of the nose, chin to base of the nose, base of the nose. Okay, whoa, that's interesting. Base of the nose, okay. Up right in between the eyebrows. Huh, that's interesting, because usually sometimes on a female, there'll be less room between the base of the nose and chin than from the base of the nose to the eyebrow, but it's kind of the opposite in this case, so I don't know what that means, but that's where we are. Okay, now just gonna put in a little something and just start, I don't know, just playing with some shading. Whoops. I gobbledygooked that up, didn't I? Alright. Now, the mouth, of course, she has her head barely tipped back, which also can affect that measurement. 1, 2, wow. Okay, my mom had a longer chin than I thought. According to this picture. No, that's too high. That's too high for the pinch. Let's see. The pinch is going to be somewhere right in there. All right. Okay. So we're starting to get a few things in place, just in general. So now, while it's still ugly, the drawing, not the model, let's just get some more tone on here. And get a feel for that. And watch me actually run out of chalk here or something. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go a little heavy on the shadowing because, I don't know, because I want to. And I just want the form to come out nicely. Is that the chin? The jawbone? Okay, it's got to come down. So, if that's the case, that's about straight over from the top of the lips, where it kicks out again in kind of the square of the jaw. I don't know if you'd call it that. And then comes down. And then the chin does its thing, and then there's a little transition between the two, blah, blah, blah. So we'll start working this and see what happens. What I want to do is establish enough so that I can come in and confidently do some darky darks, because to me it's so important that early on get your darks established, and then because then you can start to feel for some of the depth, right, of what's going on. Now I need to be careful with the hair, meaning I just can't go crazy with size and shape, or all of a sudden I'll be blowing out all my measurements, and that'll be more than it should be. But the hair is pretty wide here. There's a lot of build out to it. It kind of comes out further here, and so forth. All right. And anyway. And a lot here. Get that out there. And it comes down the neck a bit, basically to the t-shirt or whatever that is, the blouse. So we'll come out there with it. We'll bust that out there a little further. Anyway, something like that. We're kind of getting it established. Now I need to get a little more. Okay, that pops up there a little bit, and then this, how high does that run out? Yeah, that's about right, but then there's some back in there, so it's not quite so baldy back in that area. Okay, now here's what we're gonna do though. I'm now going to, I think, just pull some tone lightly through everything, right? Because then we can more successfully mark other things that should be light, right? Oh, good, you can't see what I just did. It's outside of the parameters there. No, I just put some big, heavy marks on stuff I didn't want to. Okay, now, I'm thinking, do I dare? No, it's not a matter of daring, but just, is it time to jump in with some chalky chalk? Yeah, why not? Why not? We can always do some fixing, right? So above that eyebrow, up into the hair, got that, and then up here is where it kind of does that cool peak above, and I'm looking like where things line up above that eyebrow. Yeah, I had that pretty well positioned. That, and then it has that swoop, and then that darker right there. Then this, I just don't know. I might not be going big enough. We'll see. We'll see as we go. I don't want to cut into the forehead too much. Jaw, but then the face comes out to that cheekbone. Then it turns at the cheekbone, heads up the temple of the head, whatever that's officially called. Then we have this hair coming out here, back down to the cheeks, and then it kind of comes in, comes up here some more. Anyway, just trying to give it some some depth, because part of that too is it's like putting the first scratch on a brand new car, right? It's like, oh, okay, once the scratch is there, you can just drive and enjoy your car. Does that make any sense? So once I get some good chalk on and some things established, then it's like, okay, at this point we're just going to dive in and make some things work. So now let's have some fun, get messy with my fingers. And mostly I just want to push it in good if I wipe it with the towel will take quite a bit off. And at this point, I want to push this into the paper mostly and get some established depth going. Okay, and then it's kind of cool because then you can kind of finger paint and blah blah blah. So let's looking it over. Okay, I got to think fast here. I don't like to say, like, think I'm in a hurry, because that's not it. Because a hurry would indicate that you're going to compromise what you're doing. A lively push, a living go, if that makes sense. Like taking a go at it, you know, with purpose and you know, movement in life. So not hurrying, but I'm trying not to overthink or go lethargically, or, as we like to say in my family, very deliberately, which is code for slow. And so the family I grew up in, they're like, you're very deliberate at doing that, aren't you? It's like, okay, I'm going too slow. So I don't want to go slow, but I want to be okay. Now things like this, we're measuring where does the ear come across the face. So if I go on the video, where does the ear cross over? So basically right under the structure of the nose, which I know is right there. So I'm gonna go to it, maybe just shy of it, and then that jaw's the furthest thing out. So I'm trying to be careful to tiptoe into that, because this chalk on will be pretty dark, a little bit too dark to like hope to erase. But again, like a new car, put the scratch in there. If I can't get rid of the scratch, so be it. It'll be part of its history, right? So we can change things. Just certain things want to kind of preserve. You know, some things you want to preserve, so you don't soil the paper too deeply, too quickly, so that you can't go back in and make some sensitive adjustments. Whoops, kind of messed up that shape. That's okay. So anyway, just you can see what I'm doing. Just trying to establish these darks and the general shapings, a little bit of the movement of the hair, the lights and darks that make it up. And you'll notice on the hairline, it's always a little fuzzy thing. If this was a painting, you'd paint skin tones, right? You'd paint skin tones up here, and then you paint hair tones and pull the skin into the hair and the hair down. Well, mostly the skin up into the hair. In other words, the transition into the hairline is the skin color into the hair. And then there's other places where it can be pretty linear. Like right here above the ear, it's a little bit more like sideburn, a little denser hair, it kind of sweeps away. But then right above that at the temple, even though it comes in further on the head, it's light. It kind of wisps in. It's kind of a long lay of hair onto the temple. And so you got to be careful about that not being too hard of a line over here. Over here it's pretty hard because we're seeing the edge of the face, not the edge of the hair, if that makes any sense. So anyway, blah blah blah. Those who have done a lot of drawing and portraits, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's the way it goes. Nice dark hair under here. There's always a nice cave of shadow under the ear. Okay, does that make sense? Even blonde hair, right there, you go in under the ear. If you can see through the front hair, there's always going to be a nice cave of shadow going back in there. All right, well, let's see. Let me just use my finger for now. The hair is, well, maybe I need a little chalk on. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this. I'll put chalk on my little palette board, I call it. And so it's pretty lively, but it's not quite as dark as if I'm drawing right on it. So I want to make sure I get the neck dimensions right. I don't want to skinny out her neck unduly or beef up her neck unduly. So that's one thing to check out is where does her like clavicle meet her blouse? Just inside the eye. Okay, so it is right down here-ish. And then I know I'm heading off the paper, or out of view there, I mean, to the camera, so I apologize. The t-shirt thing kind of comes down out of view there, so I apologize, but it's enough to run with and get some tone in there. And then we have a photo blemish down on the right lower corner, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. Of course, for what's being shown on the video, it's fine. It's not going to even show how I resolve that outer area. I'm going to go outside that line a little bit that I drew, because again, I don't want to overdo this dark and have to erase that out. So let's do that for now. And if we have to, it won't kill anything, but there we go. Okay, so we're done. We're done, see? That's how it goes. Okay, no, it looks like her trapezius muscle. I always inadvertently call it your trapezoid muscle. Your trapezius pushes out there and it softens, probably has a bra strap pulling down anything right over that bone, and then popping the shoulder structure up just a little bit there. So we kind of have that convex curve, concave curve, and then convex curve, just kind of doing its thing. So anyway, blah blah blah. So that's what's going on. This is falling off too quickly. Yeah, this has got to stay higher, and this one's got to come down lower. Already, I think I've kind of blown it. No, I didn't blow it, but I need to cut this down. I think I got that too high. So there we go. There we go. There we go. So we're not going to get this back to white paper, but you can see it's plenty light heading back from the erasure. All right, that's better. And then this one actually comes in and stays higher. I just didn't want to hit it too high to begin with, but I'm feeling like that's gonna come in higher, stay high, blah blah blah. And then we're not sure exactly what's going on with that because of our photo blemish, but yeah, it's definitely higher. Like that ish. Okay, so we'll just taper it out there and let it fade. Okay, so now that we have this stuff going, we will, blah blah blah. Let's see. And pardon my serious grimacing face if I start doing that. I'm trying to use my streaming as a reminder to smile while I work. I'm one of those persons, normally nobody's looking at you, and so I'll be grimacing and squinting and just doing all kinds of craziness. And sometimes, like when you're doing something with some concentration and skill, and you just don't know it, but you're sticking out your tongue, or you're, that kind of thing. Anyway, blah blah blah. So okay, we'll get back to all these hair dimensions and everything at another time. We just wanted to kind of get that established. That's going to help us a lot on figuring out where some of this stuff's going to go. So anyway, blah. Okay, I know. Sorry, I got to quit saying blah blah blah. Let's just be my backup when I'm not thinking, or when I'm concentrating so much that I'm not really saying anything intelligible. Okay. Anyway, we'll get back to this. Okay, now back to the drawing of the face. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what I can do in an amazing amount of time. Okay, so that's where I had it established. Okay, so let's come in here and darken that up a little bit. I'll let that pull out. Okay. Some in, some out, a little further out there. Gonna hit that, have that. Okay, now I'm going to soften this line over here because I can or sharpen those edges with the eraser. And in fact, I need to reclaim that cheekbone. Kicks out pretty good right there and gives a nice broad cheekbone feel. And then, since she's not a marathon runner, did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding. Then she'll actually have some nice fatty tissues in her skin. I'm just kidding about that. Okay. Well, this got to go in just a little bit. And this is where we're starting to get in some very tight parameters and particulars there, but it's going to help set up the feeling of the face. Then that jaw. Yeah, the square of that jaw. It's a nice, prominent. I wonder, no? I'm not seeing any earring or anything. Then it squares down and starts to cut under the chin, and then the chin comes over and has its claim to whatever's going on, and we'll hold that into. Okay. Now it's a little overbuilt. That's easy enough to push back in and, you know, just start claiming what's happening there. I'm just going to let that stand for a second. Okay. Then it comes up, actually pushes in. Got a nice little tight spot just above the eyebrow. There. Comes in quite defined. I hope I've got it in far enough. Okay. Kind of pushing in. Then we push back the bone structure right there. Then the skull structure pushes back there. Then we kind of come up to the corner, and this is where I got to start easing up that line of hair. Okay, it's there, but let's ease that up a bit, and then kind of ease this up also. Soften that a little bit. Okay. So the foreheads are interesting. It's easy to get too much forehead. Excuse me if I'm clearing my throat a lot. I've just gotten over a cold I've had for about a month. That's where it goes. Okay. Okay, from chin, base of nose to right between. Okay, so chin, base of nose. Right. Okay, that's feeling pretty. Darn it, I just threw one of my measuring tools. Okay, but what it is it shadows across there. So that's what's happening. We kind of have this shadow, even though the skin is there. It softens it and brings that down just a little bit. I'm going to pull that down. Okay. I think that's going to start to feel a little better. And that line heads up into there pretty prominently. Okay. Anyway, we'll see how that feels. Okay. We have that. How low does that come? Base of the eye. Okay, so we're already there. Everything, it's just so worth establishing some things. I use a method I call boxing in, where you find all the parameters of where the whole thing's going to fit. Then you find anchor points, places it touches those parameters. So that should never move while you're drawing. And then after anchor points, then use major divisions, which is anywhere you can cut through or determine, okay, this is a major division between the hair and the head, or here's a major division, of course, or a major division like where one of the eyes is across the face. So anyway, that's how it goes. All right, let me see if I can get my tool with the help of a maul stick, which really isn't a maul stick, it's just a dowel, but I'm going to call it a maul stick because I use it like a maul stick. Now, I wish I was super flexible so I could just reach down and grab this, but let me get my tool. My tool that I threw on the floor. Okay, now what time is it? Let me look at what time it is. Oh crap. Okay, 5:15. Here we go. Let's jump into the face and see how far we can go here. That's what I was doing though, huh? Now I'm going to remeasure something critical, and that is that eye, center eye, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, do I have it? 1, 2. No, it's got to pull back. I'm going to double check something here too. See if I got too wide with the face. Under half, let's see. Because I tend, if anything, to go too wide with faces. Okay, so I am going to brutally go against all the measurements and I'm going to push all this in because I think in my efforts to flesh out this structure, I brought it out too far. So I'm just going to echo it back in and push it back over just a bit. And I think already that that's actually even looking better. So there we go. So I want to start bloating out. Okay, that's feeling a little better. Okay, now then my measurement across is just like a quarter across. See, it's still too far if I'm going there. So center of the eye, though, is right there, which feels about right. So I'm just going to push a little more material in there. Okay, that's looking good. And, oh no. Oh, good. Shoot. Thought I lost my eraser. Okay. And I think what we're doing is pulling out some of the material there. And Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to establish that shape. Oh man, interesting. Okay. So looking for a tool that I don't have here. Oh man, this tool's scary. It's so pointy. Wow. I need to. I don't generally use smudging tools, except for some very specific stuff, and I almost hate to go that specific because then you're committed to doing everything that small, and I don't like that. Okay, other than just every once in a while you need to put something in just in a small place, and it takes a smaller tool. Right now that tool's taking stuff off instead of putting it on. Okay, there we go. That feels a little better. I keep getting a light spot. Anyway. So the shape of the eyeball, the shape of the cornea, yeah, something like that, bleeds through, cuts under, and then it drops down into there. We've got eyelid, and underneath the eyebrow up here, pushing that eyebrow up, and that stays a little bit shaded right there. It all stays shaded, but anyway. That eyelid cuts down a little further, and the eyeball, or the cornea rather, is going to be a little smaller. I've got it too small, but that won't be hard to build back up. Okay, so don't like to use this guy, but I'm just going to use him to push that material back that way. Okay, so, and who knows, we'll see how far we get today. I'd like to finish to a certain point, but let's just see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to measure for the other eye. Oh yeah, let's do it over here. So center of eyeball of the cornea, 1, 2, 3. And what else is it? Well, yeah, it's the same as that. So really close. Okay, so it is the center of this thing right here, of this shape. And generally speaking, I don't like to even talk about the elements by name, like the eye, the nose. I mean, I do, but it's just a thing. It's just light and dark on the surface. And so, you know, you start worrying about it being an eye, and then it becomes a big worry about it being an eye. Whereas if you just worry about it as lights and darks, just keep moving around until it looks like the thing that you're trying to build, right? So I'm not trying to make an eye. I'm just trying to make the marks with light and dark that give the illusion of an eye. I'm using the side of my finger quite a bit here. Okay. Okay, between the two inner eye points. Pull it. Okay, so something's wacky. So if I go to here, 1, 2, So that feels right. So do I need to pull this one back? Okay, if I go from cheekbone to there, that should go there. So that does. I think I need to pull that back a little bit. And I think I need to whittle down. We also overemphasize eyes. We usually make them too big most of the time because of all the false sense of eye size. Well, we just do that anyway, but especially with animation being so prominent. And so forth. Okay, see how dark that is? That tool is just too abrupt. Okay, to kind of mellow that out. Gosh, it's got that so harsh with that tool. Sticks out so badly. Okay. So, yeah, the eye. I think the eye's even smaller. Now it's getting a little dreamy. I don't think it's quite that dreamy. And she had blue eyes. So we're pulling out a little bit of light logic on the eye itself, but that'll come in time. Okay, so what I was back to establishing is how far out that this eye socket comes. I know, sorry, you can't see how I'm measuring it on the actual thing. On the camera. Oh, man, it's playing a trick on me. Okay, so it's about right here. Okay, and what I'm looking for is kind of where it comes down, cuts across everything, because then it pops up and it takes out the eyebrow at about the same spot. And so really all of that was just to inform myself about the eyebrow position. I really wasn't after the eye stuff so much, but in going after the eyebrow, then we're helping establish where the eye is itself. And I'm having trouble getting that little mark off there. Oof, I might have to work on that later. But again, not to worry, right? We gotta just go for it, make the marks we're making, and go for it. Now that comes out the hair. The hair comes up there a little bit, but the eyebrow is not that far out. So I gotta not go crazy with how far I'm pushing that eyebrow. It does come back this way. Has the natural little structural swoop just past center, where it kind of pushes up, and then it levels back out, and so forth. And not only did my mother live in the day and age where a lot of the eyebrows were painted on, but she herself just didn't really have that hair for eyebrows, and so she painted on her eyebrows her whole life. I remember as a kid watching her in the morning, putting her makeup on, and she'd be working on that. So, okay. Got the eye there. Just darken that a little bit. Just get a little emphasis. Push a little more in there. A little under there. And then we'll whittle away what we don't need. So I like to come in, overbuild the shadows, because they're easy to erase away and leave behind. That's where I get that angular eye shape in my own anatomy. Now, what it is, I've overbuilt the eye, so I need to come in and claim this white of the eye. And it kind of bubbles down there pretty good, like that, okay? So we're starting to get the feel, right, for where things are going. Starting to get the feel for where things belong. Okay, you just got to trust yourself. And then also measure, measure, measure. Not once, but all the time. You're going through and double checking what you've measured to and where it's going and where does it originate, where does it terminate. That's always important, especially in anatomical stuff. Like especially if you think like a bone system, where does that bone originate and where does that bone terminate, right? So forth. All right. Well, okay, let's let that hang for a second. That'll do. That'll do for now, right? Let's establish a couple of things. A little drink of water out of my cheap water bottle. Just a leftover soda bottle. Okay, let's go 15 more minutes. And let's finish the hour from when we started. Okay, now with the mouth, I like to look for the corners of the mouth. Where are they? This one is straight down from kind of the inside of that cornea. So somewhere here-ish. Okay, so that's how far out it goes, kind of. Maybe not quite all that way, but generally. Then where is it from chin and so forth? Or from eye, center eye down. What does that give me? Ooh, almost a hairline. So if I go like that. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, almost a hairline, right? So, okay, so that's matching up quite nicely. So, all right. So I know where that's basically established. Now, the other one is from chin up to there. Trying to find something it can relate to, or the angle where it's going, and how far out. Now this one terminates just inside that whole eye system. Yeah, so just, yeah, not that far. That was a little far. So if I do that, then I can carve it out. There's a steeper lip. system right there. And then, whoops, I got some severe dark on my finger. Just cut this one in. Whoops, dang it, I went too far. Cut off too much, but it cuts in. Then it creates this nice slope all the way down there. And I kind of, anyway, I'll have to rework that a little bit. Then it has a gentle shaping out to here. And I'm afraid I'm going to do too big a blob. So I'm just going to ease out a little dark right there. With that tool. And I'm actually going to whittle it back a little bit because it has a pretty good little tuck in right there. And then it pushes up from the lower lip, the light of the lower lip pretty quickly. Then the underneath cuts up, something like that. So you can see it's starting to pull in to place, right? And the chin, boy, even though I had it marked right there, and I gotta stick with it. I gotta not start making up new chin parameters. I'll get myself in trouble. Okay, so we start to put the chin in place like that. Okay, and keep in mind you don't ever want a full line going through there, even though you can see that consistently. If anything, you have a little line coming off the jaw and the line coming off the chin, and then you want it to ease up right in between, because that's where the fleshy part transitions right there, right here. You don't want a harsh line right there, because you got the chin bone saying, hey, I'm here, and you got the jawbone saying, I'm here, but then right here is where the flesh can adjust and move through there. So even though she's young, it's usually tighter and nicer line through there. You want to ease up right there, just break it up a little bit, because otherwise it's going to look like a false, cartoon line for the jaw and so forth. So we kind of ease that up. Okay, you know what? What time is it? Okay, we just have time to just do a couple things. I'm going to reclaim that ear a little bit. And I have no problem that dark got in there a little bit. All we need is contrast, to tell us what's going on with the ear in there. Then, the ears, I always say you want enough information on the ear that it looks right, that it satisfies our native ability to recognize human features. Like, it's just built into us, we just get it. But you don't want to make an ear portrait out of a portrait, if that makes sense. You don't want to do so much to an ear that it's like, whoa, look at that ear. You really just want it to be enough to go, nice ear, and you back right off visually. And don't spend too much time observing the ear. Does that make sense? But what's funny is it can take you a while to push shapes around in the ear until it looks natural, until it looks right. you know, and so forth. So put in the effort it takes to appropriately build the ear, but then just don't call any more attention to it than the anatomy demands. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but okay, now look where that kind of light comes off, kind of right from there. So I'm going to kind of push that there. Let's see, I just got, oh, little message. Little phony message about virus protection. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, there we go. So I can work on more on this later. Just wanted to get that kind of established in there. Anyway, we've got some things showing well. And we'll have to make this another one more shot. Not that I want to belabor it, but I know what it's going to take to tidy it up, and don't quite have all the features in place as accurately as we need to. So we're not going to rush to a finish. And honestly, I've only done just over an hour on it, so if I'm doing the hour-and-a-half portrait thing, then hey, I've still got a good half hour on another day to legit do my hour-and-a-half portrait, right? So anyway, we'll play with that some more later. Okay, but you can see it's kind of getting there. And then we're into the small things that really play and identify the look. And nostrils are one of those things, kind of like ears. You got to have them, but you do not want to create a nostril nose portrait, right? So you just want to get things in place. Make sure you're in the right place before you start darkening anything. Just kind of getting things in there. And then you can start to shape and you know, determine what's going on with those nostrils. Okay, so we'll take more of that into account next time. And you can see my darkest darks, pardon me, playing off each other. And so I just need to grab a drink of water. You can see where I need to put more darks into the eyes now, and so forth. And there's 100 things to look at as far as sizing and shaping goes. Like right now, starting to notice the neck, how that's feeling. And I think if anything, that's what I just need to beef it out that way. Let it curve under. Push that curve back slightly, I think. But again, I'll take a look at this again when I come back and to finish up. And trying to get some darks up in here. I can almost go chalk on, but don't want to quite go chalk on there. Not yet. I just want to get that dark against the neck so we have that contrast. All right. Well, we're getting there. Things are happening. Yeah, we'll keep working this. So anyway, to all those wonderful mothers out there who put up with us and raised us, loved us, sacrificed for us, it's a little ode to my mother who did all that. I was the 7th child, the 6th boy. I had an older sister who was the oldest, and then 5 older brothers. And how she put up with us all is a miracle. But she did it gladly, and we were her focus. And I'm so grateful for that focus, that we were the first thing of importance in her life. And she did so much to add to our lives, and I'm grateful, very, very grateful. So anyway, it doesn't exactly look like it right now, but we're getting there. We're getting there. A little more of the getting things established. So anyway, we're getting there. Alrighty. Well, I better stop. I keep this is where it gets fun and hard, because all of a sudden you start seeing things because you have enough information down to just keep rolling. So anyway, I'll keep seeing things that I want to change. So I better stop there. But it's been fun. It's been fun to do this hour. Anyway, happy Mother's Day yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed my efforts on this portrait so far here at Draw Me Face. I'm Mark Omer, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.